Abortion policy does have a real-world impact, so joining us now to discuss that is our 9 News medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli. Thank you so much for being here. So what have the studies shown about changes in birth trends since the abortion ban?
It's interesting, Sam. We're really starting to see the effects of the abortion ban, and it shouldn't be surprising, but there are more births now, right? Because you ban abortion, you have more births. So the birth rate has gone up by about 1.7%, but it disproportionately impacts certain groups. And you could probably guess which the groups are. The minorities that are underrepresented, the people that lack education, the ones that are socioeconomically disadvantaged, and even younger people are impacted more. And there's even a geographical variation where we see higher birth rates in states like Texas that are embracing the ban a lot more heartily.
And how is that affecting the infants? Are their health okay in those marginalized communities where they're having higher birth rates?
And here's the problem. So you have a marginalized community, you put more stress on it by increasing the birth rate, so what you end up getting is unhealthier infants. So we're seeing more serious diseases in infants that are born. We're also seeing a higher infant mortality.
Really?
Yes, and so more kids are being born as stillbirth or passing away soon after being born. And again, this is disproportionately affecting the Black infants, where the rates have increased to 11% higher Black infant mortality, which is an alarming number.
Right. Wow. Okay, so in Colorado, abortion is still legal, but changes were made when this abortion ban came into place. Can you talk to us about that?
You know, it's interesting. It's a ripple effect, right? So you can't do something somewhere without it causing an effect somewhere else. And so what we've seen here in our state is that we have more and more people coming from out of state for out-of-state abortions. It's gone from 13% in 2020 to 30% in 2023. And unfortunately, what worries me as a physician is that we're seeing more second trimester abortions. So that number has gone up 83%. Now, thankfully, that's leveled out a little bit because of some of the changes. But if you are pregnant in another state, you want to terminate your pregnancy, and Colorado allows you to do that at any point during the pregnancy. By the time you get your act together and come over here to Colorado and have it, it's a later term abortion, which confers higher risk to you, of course, but it also has ethical implications as well.
And speaking of higher risk of women, the Justice Department, we opened with it, has dropped a Biden-era lawsuit, right, that sought to require Idaho providers to offer emergency abortion care. How do you react to all that as a physician?
It gives me goosebumps, honestly, as a physician, because here's how the law sort of plays itself out. So it used to be physicians could use their discretion to decide when to perform an abortion to save a mother's life, right? But because of the fact that this lawsuit has been dropped, physicians in Idaho are fearful that they might get jail time if they end up performing a termination of pregnancy in a woman who has multi-organ failure, because multi-organ failure is not protected under this law, only an imminent threat to life. And so where that line happens, where is that imminent threat to life if the woman's organs are failing? Is it okay for us to terminate the pregnancy as a physician? But you stop and pause and think. So you don't think about mom's health. You don't think about saving mom's life under any circumstances. You say, how is this going to boomerang back on me if I perform this termination and somebody else decides that there was not an imminent threat to life? Then could I get jail time? So I really worry that this has sort of set up something where physicians, instead of paying attention to the patient ahead of them, are going to be worrying about the implications for themselves, their medical license, and that's going to affect the way that they practice medicine.
So just having this discussion with you, how do you feel, do you feel that this abortion ban, and I know it's a state's issue, but you mentioned the ripple effect, that it affects women's health care?
100%, without any hesitation. And it's not just me. The literature is starting to show that there are not just effects on a woman's physical health, there are effects on the babies that are being born, there are effects on their family, their mental health effects, and there's even an economic impact of this abortion ban. So I really hope, as a doctor, when we think about reproduction, it's a beautiful thing, right? Having a child is a beautiful thing. But when there is a problem with the pregnancy, or if a physician needs to do something to save the mother's life, that should never be a question that they hesitate on.
Dr. Payal Kohli, thank you, as always.